utterly destroyed everything." The declaration reverberated across the living area, sharp enough to cleave skin. My mother's voice was strained. My father's fists quivered with rage, and my siblings fixed me with a stare as if I had intentionally set fire to our dwelling. I offered no counter-argument. I shed no tears. I didn't even twitch. I simply withdrew because their fury wasn't directed at the person who had betrayed their trust. It was aimed at me, the one who had refused to maintain the deception. It's quite ironic how deceit initially wears a look of benevolence. I vividly recall the first instance I saw him, my sister's husband, the man she believed was her everlasting love. John possessed that charm, eyes that gave the illusion of listening, a smile that pretended to care. I desperately wished to trust him for her sake. She deserved joy after years of hardship he bestowed upon her, blossoms, commitments, and a wedding so exquisite it appeared professionally staged. But certain people don't seek marriage for genuine affection, they pursue it for advantage, and my kin were blind to this reality until it was far too late. The warning signs began. Subtly, his mobile phone was always positioned face down. His sudden mandatory business journeys, the unfamiliar scent of perfume clinging to his garments. I was hesitant to make an accusation without concrete evidence, so I observed, I listened, I waited, and then the proof materialized, indisputable. A notification glowed on his display while he was showering. Last evening was unforgettable. Same venue next week. My hands remained perfectly steady. My breathing never hitched. I captured screenshots. I documented his patterns, his bank records, and hotel invoices. Even a framework of falsehoods leaves behind a paper trail. But when I presented the evidence to my family, expecting outrage toward him, they redirected their indignation onto me. He could never. You're simply envious. Why are you trying to sabotage her union? And finally, my mother's voice cutting deep. You've utterly destroyed everything. That was the night I departed. They were convinced I was the antagonist. Fine, I accepted the role. Vulnerability is a flaw. I suppressed my own deeply. What emerged in its place was meticulous calculation. I understood his maneuvers, how he sequestered assets, how he manipulated devotion as if it were currency. So I deliberately crafted my vengeance with the same precision he used to weave his lies. No hysterics, no theatrical confrontations, just stillness and planning. Phase 1, financial exposure. He maintained accounts his wife was unaware of, investments he claimed did not exist. I discreetly alerted the relevant officials, utilizing anonymous information. The tax authorities descended upon him with predatory focus. Phase 2, social ruin. Not a single mistress, but 3. I dispatched copies of the very same documentation I'd given my family to each of them. Screenshots, dates, receipts. I didn't need to add commentary. The truth is inherently loud. Phase 3, legal exactitude. I quietly steered my sister toward a course of action a skilled lawyer recommended through a contact. She assumed it was mere coincidence, but it wasn't. Every stipulation, every technicality, every layer of defense was perfectly arranged. By the time she grasped the full scope of events, she was the one holding all the leverage. And then arrived the evening when everything crumbled. John stood at my sister's threshold, his voice raw from begging, from attempting to account for the sudden freezing of his capital. The eviction notice, the women appearing at his place of employment. My family watched in horror as the facade he had worn for years finally fractured wide open. He screamed, he wept, he swore he loved her, claiming it was all baseless fabrications. That's when my sister looked at me, her eyes streaming with tears, not tears of anger this time, but of dawning awareness. You knew. I offered no reply. It wasn't necessary, because the truth was already consuming him from every direction. He lunged at me, spitting spite. You ruined me. You've destroyed everything. And for the very first time, my family saw that monster lurking behind the agreeable smile. A month later, my phone indicated 5-6 missed calls from my mother, my father, and even my sister. They finally understood they desired my return. They implored me to come back to the house, but I was in no rush. Silence is its own form of retribution. I sat on my balcony contemplating the urban lights and quietly affirmed to myself I didn't destroy anything. I simply revealed the truth, and the truth is the most merciless weapon of all. Deceit no longer defeats me, it simply sharpens me. They yelled, they blamed, they abandoned me until the deceit collapsed under its own mass. I didn't require their apologies, I didn't need their approval. All I needed was the deep satisfaction of knowing that when justice arrived, it bore my distinct touch, subtle, imperceptible, undeniable, and it left me entirely whole.